When we're ready to go, this is going to be the normal camera position. The left hand is for the arm movement position of the camera. The right hand we are using for panning and tilting, basically controlling the camera. Now, these fingers here, they are all being used in feathering the camera, giving it controls. What we're going to do is, with the pinky, we can lift up on the camera and get a great sweeping shot of it coming down. We can use your thumb and also other four fingers to pull back on the camera and get a great walking low shot to up, and that's something I'll demonstrate a little bit later. But just be mindful that we're not gripping the camera, the gimbal, the post rather. We're just feathering the camera, allowing it to do its own thing. We're not here to control this. All of the shake and movement is going to show up once we do that. So it's just a slight touch, allowing the camera to do what it's going to do, and we get to feel the response from the camera. So the first exercise we're going to do is called walking the line. Now we are at a tennis court. The lines are perfectly straight, and you can go anywhere to find a good line to walk across. And basically what you're trying to do is get your camera positioning to be perfectly still along this line. So as we walk, we are lined up with it just right. We aren't moving up or down with the booming motion. We aren't going side to side, and we definitely aren't swaying the camera or tilting the camera either way. This will come naturally over time, and especially as you work the independent hands, and then when you put them all together, you will be able to fly this camera great. So let's start off by keeping the camera facing forward, and we're going to walk forward with the camera, and then once we stop in our position, we're going to also walk backwards. So as we're walking, keep the camera close near and find your point. I need to change my fore and aft positioning just a bit, and there we go. That looks great. And here we go. Now we were just keeping the post right above that line. And now we're walking backwards. There we go. Now just do that a few times and just get to where it feels somewhat comfortable. And then the next position is having the camera facing backwards as we walk forwards and backwards. And this would be great if we had a subject behind us and we are following, doing a walking follow. And we're just going to do the same thing. Now what we want to do with this shot is not bring the camera behind us. That's a common mistake to make. What we really want to do is keep the camera and the monitor in front of us so it doesn't throw off our physics, and it just feels much more natural that way. So here we go. The next move we're going to work on is called the switch. That's where we are starting to walk backwards, but we want to change our position so we can walk forwards with the camera staying in one spot. What we want to do is keep the camera lined up perfectly, not move the camera at all, not display in any way that we're moving the camera, moving our bodies to reposition. So the way we do that is if we start walking backwards, then we're going to take a step back, feather the camera. So basically you're going to walk your hands around the camera to keep it exactly where it is, move the gimbal handle back with you, and then start moving forwards with the camera facing back. Let me show you that one more time. So we're grounded. We start walking backwards. We step back and walk forwards. Now there might be a slight pause there. That's natural just because of the movement that you have to make. I'll show you one more time. And step back and go. Now the same is true if we wanted to start walking forwards with the camera forwards. We would start back and step around, let the camera pass right by you, and you're back into the forward walking position. Let me talk to you a minute about resting positions with the stabilizer. Now, when you are working, most of your back is going to be, you'll feel the weight of the camera, and after a while, you might be fatigued. To avoid that fatigue, whenever there's some downtime, instead of docking the camera or taking all the gear off, just bring the camera up and rest it onto your shoulder, the opposite side of whatever side you're flying the camera. This puts a lot of rest onto your back, and you can hold this for a long time. It's very comfortable. Also, another thing you can do is going from your ready position and just bringing the camera to your opposite side. This allows you to rest your body. It takes the fatigue off of the one side of your back, and it's a very comfortable position to be in. Lastly, the other thing you can do is just hold on to the camera close to your body, because when we're bringing the camera into our body, all of the pressure in the back instantly goes away. So you can hold this here for quite a long time, and it feels completely normal, completely natural. So these are 3 resting positions, and make sure that you do that. Also, another position for safety is when you are docking your camera, make sure to always hold on to the arm. So let's say we're going to go ahead and dock our camera right now. Never let go of this arm. It can spring right back, knock teeth out. It's a very dangerous thing if you were just to let go of it. So hold on to it and hold it close to your body, and that's your position. Now on this shot, you might want to ask a friend to help you out. I've got Dave here helping me out. We are going to do basically a spinning around shot, and I do this frequently. It's a great shot for weddings or anything that you really want to get this great cinematic feel. It's a very easy shot, but what you have to do is you have to feather your camera the whole way around and make sure that the subject is right in the center of the crosshairs. One thing you don't want to do is to either change your booming pattern or shift your weight either side to side. It's not going to look right in the system. So make sure you have your headroom. You can adjust your fore and aft if you need to. And then once that's locked down, then you can set up on your subject. And I'll record this as well. And you can pick a way, whatever way is more comfortable. If you would prefer to go to your left, you can go to your left. You can start out by turning and locking onto the subject with your panning and tilting hand here. Or if you prefer to go right or need to go right, you can lock right into your subject, and once you find the subject, feather in and stay on the subject. So we'll try both ways right now. So I'm going to pick a position to stick on, and I'm just keeping them centered, keeping the headroom as much as I can, so good framing. Also be mindful of the distance that you are moving around the subject. You would want it to be equal all the way around. If you move in too close or too far away, it is going to show up. Of course, if that's the look you're looking for, then no problem. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. This might be a little easier if you're using it with the configuration that we have set up. So just keep the subject right in the center of your crosshairs. And that's a great shot to use. Also, other times, another great shot is to combine this with tilting either the camera down or up. This looks great during receptions, ballroom dancing. It looks fantastic. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll start high, get chandeliers moving across my screen, and drop into the subject. And then once I'm locked on, find my positioning and just stay in orbit with them. And that's a beautiful shot to get. And if you need an instant low mode, you can also throw the camera upside down and grab something down low. Now, these systems did come with a low mode, so for any set work, anything you wouldn't need instantaneously, it is definitely recommended that you add the low mode to the system. I want to talk to you a little bit about running with the rig. Before you decide to take off and bust your knee and break the camera and everything else, make sure you know where you're going, that there's no potholes or obstacles in the way, such as large rocks or anything that could cause you to fall. If you have a spotter involved, also make sure that they check out the terrain. And when you start running, you're going to be in the normal position. And you're going to want to feather the camera with this hand as much as possible. Keep the camera close in. Some people like to throw out their other arm. I think that's, it can complicate matters, so I prefer just to hold on and keep the camera close to my body. It's good also to start off slow and then you can take off. Know that the vibration in the arm is gonna make some noise, but overall it's going to stabilize the system for you just great.